Want to be entertained, informed, amused? Tap into CityLine, your 24-hour information line. Special category numbers put fun and facts at your fingertips. Looking for something to do? CityLine has concert and theater listings, even movie reviews. If it's information you're after, CityLine has the latest news, weather, and sports. And if you just want to be entertained, dial up a joke or a game. It's a free local call. The CityLine directory can get you started. CityLine, it's the most fun you can have with a phone, and it's free.
Welcome to News Center 5. In the next 30 minutes, empty classrooms and tissue boxes. And dump opponents win another skirmish in Cortland.
Also today, a pair of arrests in a rural murder. And a big city mayor accused of getting high on crack cocaine.
Plus, a tasty recipe from Mr. Food's Kitchen and George Casteras with a report on sports. All just ahead on News Center 5 at noon.
TV5 has your family favorites. At 7, it's America's funniest family on The Cosby Show. And following the Huxtables, the neighbors will keep you laughing. The Seavers move in at 7:30 with Growing Pains. Your two favorite families. Cosby at 7, followed by Growing Pains at 7:30. Weeknights here on WTVH 5.
Ever have one of those days when everything just kind of goes to heck? When you're overwhelmed by difficult people, problems, technical difficulties beyond mortal control, and then you can't even find anything good on TV. Well, the difficulty isn't in your set, it's your setting. Tune into Highway to Heaven and give yourself a break. It may not solve all your problems, but the picture just might seem a little better.
Highway to Heaven, weekdays at 4 on TV5.
This morning, the taste of one coffee is opening some eyes.
Hey, you guys, free coffee. This is great.
This is delicious. What is this?
Sanka ground roast. No way, this isn't Sanka.
You know, this smells really good.
I think it's good.
I'm really surprised.
Sanka decaffeinated coffee has found a special natural way to remove caffeine while keeping virtually all of the coffee flavor in the bean.
This is great.
Today's Sanka. The taste will open your eyes.
Listen, fact is, I know football and I know coffee, and this is good coffee.
This is the big one. Raymour's Furniture is making history. Big-name manufacturers have trucked tons of new merchandise to Raymour's Furniture, all for Raymour's massive Factory Direct event. In one place, at one time, over 100 factories will be represented, with deep discounts throughout every Raymour's location. This is the big one. Factory Direct prices from some of the biggest names in furniture. Save now. This weekend, Raymour's Factory Direct event is making history.
It hurts, sinus pressure and headache. It really hurts. Sinutab combines the painkiller and Tylenol with the decongestant and Sudafed to give you more than either one alone. It stops the pain. Sinutab stops the pain.
It starts with itch and irritation, and then hemorrhoid flare-up. To relieve that painful burning on contact, get Tux medicated pads. Soothing, cooling Tux pads from Park Davis.
Ron Curtis, Central New York and you. Ron Curtis, one of the familiar, friendly faces of News Center 5. For your convenience at 5:30 and 6 o'clock. Ron Curtis, Liz Ayers, and Graham Robertson. This is News Center 5.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thermometers and tissues are replacing pencils and books in some parts of Onondaga County today.
And chicken soup is taking the place of an apple for the teacher.
Lisa Holbrook is standing by with the TV5 Live Eye in the town of Onondaga to explain. Lisa?
Well, Ron, normally this playground would be pretty busy during this time of day, but you can see today that just isn't the case. School had to be canceled here because of the flu, and the bug has hit here in a very big way. Yesterday, more than 20% of the students in the district were home sick with the flu bug. Now, Superintendent Dan Connor tells us the problem started late last week and has only gotten worse since. Teachers and bus drivers have also been hit.
We came back on Tuesday. We had about 22% of our student body absent with flu symptoms. That number continued to escalate to about 25% on Wednesday, around 25% on Thursday. At that point, we came to the realization that we were dealing with a whole new set of students coming down with the flu symptoms and decided at that point that it was in the best interest of students and staff to close school on Friday.
Now, Connor estimates a total of about 70% of the student body here has had the flu at one time or another in the past week. And Ron, he's hoping by giving them the long weekend, that'll be enough time to just snap this thing once and for all.
At this point, they plan to reopen Monday as usual?
They're planning to reopen Monday as usual.
Okay. Any indication that any other school districts in the area have been affected?
Connor tells us that the West Hill district, which is right next door to Onondaga Central, has had a higher than normal absentee rate this past week, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. I've checked with Tully and Lafayette. They say they haven't had a problem yet. They're hoping it doesn't hit them, and at this point, they're just keeping their fingers crossed.
Indeed. Okay. Thank you, Lisa, very much. Well, high school students in the Marcellus School District were told to get back on their school buses and go home this morning. All schools in the Marcellus District were closed because of a power failure in the village. Some Cortland County residents forced state inspectors to abandon an attempt to look over a proposed site for a nuclear dump this morning. About 35 protesters surrounded a car carrying the inspection team as it tried to gain access to one of two sites being considered for the waste facility. Dump opponents successfully blocked an inspection back in December, but more than 20 were arrested in that protest. So far, there are no reports of arrests today. Protesters continue to man roadblocks in case the inspectors try to return later.
We have several stories to report to you today concerning murder and other crimes. 2 Wayne County men are behind bars charged with killing a bartender. 20-year-old Leroy Smith Jr. and 32-year-old Ricky Galvin of Sodas were picked up by state police this morning. Police allege the pair is responsible for the stabbing death of Stephen Denner. Denner's body was found yesterday morning at Lockwood's Pub in Sodas. So far, police claim they don't know what led to the murder. A former Syracuse woman who spent the last 12 years in a wheelchair is behind bars in Minnesota today. She's accused of trying to kill her daughter and 3 other people. Authorities allege Christine Rupert tried to set fire to her home with the intent of killing her 12-year-old daughter, a housekeeper, and the housekeeper's 2 children. Rupert works for the Veterans Administration. She transferred from Syracuse to Minnesota about a year ago.
Last April 17th, 17-year-old Sam Amidio Jr. was doing a good deed. He was feeding the pets of his scribe neighbor while the neighbor was on vacation. That act of kindness cost Amidio his life. Prosecutors contend William Branshaw bludgeoned Amidio to death when the teenager apparently walked in on a burglary. Today, the prosecution and defense both presented their opening statements to a jury as Branshaw's murder trial got underway. A jury in Onondaga County concluded Brian Hunt was the man who killed an elderly Syracuse woman when she interrupted a burglary. Hunt was found guilty of the December 1987 murder of Margaret Murray at her Tipperary Hill home. It was the second trial for Hunt on the murder charges. The first ended in a mistrial when the jury could not reach a verdict.
The mayor of the nation's capital is scheduled for arraignment at this hour on drug charges. Marion Barry was arrested last night by the FBI at a downtown Washington hotel. Law enforcement sources report the arrest came after Barry was recorded on videotape smoking crack cocaine. Barry has been repeatedly haunted by allegations of drug use.
The crew of the Space Shuttle Columbia will spend another day in space. The spacecraft was supposed to return to Earth early this morning, but the threat of fog at the shuttle's landing site in California forced NASA to postpone Columbia's return. The 5-member crew is now scheduled to return to Earth at 3 a.m. tomorrow. The added day in space will give this mission the distinction of being the longest shuttle flight on record.
A new attempt to lower infant mortality rates.
And looking for answers to chronic dizziness. We'll have the story on For Your Health in just a few minutes.
What's in a name? Quite a lot if it's Courtesy Ford, the dealership where you can make an appointment for service so that you can get your car or truck in and out when promised. And when you do bring that car or truck in, it's assigned to a special team of expert mechanics with a team leader who stay with that vehicle whenever you come back for service. This way they get to know your car as well as you do. Just one of the reasons we're called Courtesy Ford, the dealership that goes out of its way to earn your business.
Have you ever thought of living at the top of the city? The Skyline's fully modern units offer you the finest in apartment living. comfort, spaciousness, and much, much more. And Skyline offers the amenities of a shopping center, plus a beautifully modernized lobby, all in one building. You will never have to leave home. And with an apartment like this, who'd want to? The Skyline, James Street, Syracuse.
Wake up to great savings on breakfast time favorites this week at P&C. Like eye-opening Sunny Square coffee, the 11.5-ounce brick pack, only 88 cents with newspaper coupon. Start the day with citrus. Large, juicy navel oranges get 8 for $1.99. And say good morning to P&C in-store bakery cake donuts, only 19 cents each.
Price Champion, people care about you.
Fryhoppers could bring you a light bread that tastes great, too. Delicious Fryhoppers Light, now 15 cents off.
Always as good as you remember.
Silo. Silo, everything that turns you on.
Now. Onondaga County is taking a giant step in trying to stop unborn and newborn babies from dying.
Steps are being taken because the infant mortality rate for the city of Syracuse is the highest of 27 cities of comparable size.
After studying the issue for 6 months, a special task force has come up with a plan. In an effort to deal with the problem, health officials have decided to broaden services available to pregnant women. The task force will now begin to find the women who are in desperate need of help for their babies. Well, it's a problem that plagues many people, and it's often difficult to treat.
Maureen Green reports chronic dizziness has been frustrating patients and doctors for years.
Off balance, out of control. This is what the world can look like through the eyes of a dizzy person.
It appeared as though if anyone was watching me when I was trying to walk alone, that maybe I was a little bit tipsy.
Anna Roback started having dizziness attacks in March of 1988. After months of medical testing, no one knew for sure what was causing the attacks.
I'd say that probably 40 to 50% of the people that we see or more, we have no idea why they're dizzy.
Causes of dizziness can include anemia, inner ear problems, and brain tumors. Whatever the cause in Anne's case, she seems to have found relief through physical therapy. First, Anne's therapist helped her identify movements which made her dizzy. Just rolling from side to side brought on the sensation. Then the therapist told Anne to do this exercise over and over to work through the dizziness.
What we think is happening is that the brain over time is better able to handle that input, so that if we repeat the input again and again, it may make the brain better able to handle the stimulus.
Anne has balance problems because of her dizziness, and this balance test measures the progress she's making in fighting those problems. A platform detects movement as she tries to balance and then displays the results on a computer screen.
The results today indicated that she has, in fact, made a significant improvement from since her initial visit.
Anne and her husband, John, walk about 4 miles a day. These days, walking is easier because Anne feels better. She says physical therapy, which made her dizzy, made the difference.
I realize now that provoking the thing was eventually stabilizing me. I don't know how it all works, but somehow it does seem to work.
Maureen Green, News Center 5.
Chattering birds, just one of the topics in today's edition of Letters to the Editor.
And in the next few minutes, we'll look at the Weekend 5-cast, and George Casteris will be here with a report on sports.
Everybody loves easy lemon squares, including us. Well, you see, they make us look like a whiz.
Before Wegmans introduced a family video department, we decided we'd have the biggest library with special attention to new releases and quantity, all on a quick service computer system, membership free, rental price is the lowest. We send you home to the movies.
And when it comes from Wegmans. You know that it's our best. This is Wegmans best.
In Wegmans home video and everything we do, we're more committed than ever to getting better than ever.
You're gorgeous. I've got to have you. You're coming home with me tonight.
Antiques. People love finding them.
Where have you been? I've looked everywhere. I knew I'd find you here.
You'll find thousands of antiques from hundreds of dealers.
I've been looking for you all my life. Now you're mine. Let's go back to my place.
Don't miss the Salt City Winter Antique Show 90, this Friday through Sunday at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse.
This could be the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
When he heard the news, he left in haste. Didn't want to miss that big, bold taste.
McDonald's cheddar melts.
It's beef from McDonald's, a quarter pound on a toasted rye bun, but it won't stay around.
McDonald's cheddar melts.
With cheddar cheese sauce, grilled onions too, it's a big, bold taste, too good to be true.
McDonald's cheddar melts.
Cheddar melt. For a limited time. To go at McDonald's.
Fight on your hands. Choose your weapon carefully.
When I was a kid, I used to say,
I want my maple.
now I want maple for my kids. In seconds, I can make a nutritious oatmeal with vitamins they need and the maple taste they love.
I want my maple.
Some things never change.
Right now, we want letters to the editor. And here is Graham.
Thank you, Ron. Talking birds, silly chatter, the rock of Channel 5, and where is Central New York are on the minds of writers to letters to the editor. The first writer wants to straighten us out on a recent story we aired. The story showed several cockatiels riding on a model train. We admitted we didn't know whether the cockatiels knew how to ask where the train would take them. Cockatiels do talk. I had one that said, "Praise the Lord," and many other things. And the next writer didn't like what he heard and saw when he tuned into Channel 5 one Monday night. Last night, New Year's, I didn't want to watch football, so I tuned in Channel 5, and there was the program called Dr. Doctor. I don't think that in my 45 years of watching TV that I have ever seen such a bad program. After sitting through about 3 minutes of Dr. Doctor, I switched to see Wolf Trap Salutes Victor Borge. Now that was real comedy. The next writer watches a lot of television and has made the following determination. In a time when newscasters jump from station to station, Ron Curtis has remained the rock of Channel 5. He presents himself as honest and fair, and his reporting is second to none. It is a pleasure to watch Ron every day and let him know his professionalism doesn't go unnoticed. I don't make this stuff up. His stability and consistency over the years has made him the best in Central New York. And the last writer wants to know exactly where is Central New York located. When I went to grade school, Oswego, Pulaski, etc. were northern New York. Now you advertise as Central New York. We used to say Phoenix and Syracuse were central. Which is right? Well, we're going to look to the rock for that answer.
Oh, has to do with my head, I guess. Well, actually, even now, I will refer to Oswego County, for instance, as the North Country. But the State Labor Department has decided that the greater Syracuse area includes Oswego County. So therefore, it is part of Central New York.
Okay, there's your answer. And if you want to send your comments to letters to the editor, you can reach us here at News Center 5. Our address is WTVH, 980 James Street, Syracuse 13203. Please sign your letters. Only signed letters can be used. And remember, the opinions expressed are those of the writers to letters to the editor and not those of the staff, management, or advertisers of WTVH.
That's true. I've never had comments like that, like the one that Danny was kind enough to write. Thank you. Well, right now we're going to talk sports, and you know, George, the enthusiasm of sports fans at times gets out of hand, and such was the case last night.
It is, and we'll get to that in a moment. Down in North Carolina. It's a very unfortunate incident. You don't. It's bad enough when the players fight, but when the thing gets into the stands and players come on the floor,
totally uncalled for.
It's a very unfortunate thing, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But we'll begin in Lawrence, Kansas, where last night the #1 team in the land, Kansas, played host to Elizabeth City State. That's right, Elizabeth City State, a Division II school from North Carolina. And if you thought this game was going to be a blowout, you were right. Terry Brown will drive the length of the court for the Jayhawks, and he gets the easy layup. It was 26-4 early in the first half, as you can see, and it didn't get any closer than that. Alley-oop to freshman Alonzo Jamison of K-State, and they just really rolled in this one. Mark Randall will drive the baseline for the bucket as Roy Williams' team rolls to the 132-65 when Kansas is now 19-0. Now let's get down to Greensboro last night in North Carolina. A pushing and shoving match on the floor between two players turned into what ended up being a major brawl between North Carolina A&T and NC Central and their fans. You'll see coming up here that everything was used as weapons, including the chairs from the bench. A very unfortunate incident last night in North Carolina. The game was suspended. Well, tomorrow night, the SU basketball team will try and shake its recent shooting slump when Providence comes to the Dome.
Last year when we played them 3 times, and they were probably 3 of the toughest games of the year for us. So, you know, we're going to be happy about that. We're going to welcome them in here Saturday night so we can pick up the tempo a little bit.
Game time at the Dome tomorrow night is 8 o'clock. More bad academic news for the SU football team. Junior defensive lineman Mark Swinson has been dismissed from school for being unable to meet minimum grade requirements. Earlier this week, redshirt freshman quarterback Wendell Lowry reportedly left school after similar problems. So Coach Mack's team, some of these guys, I guess, just having a little trouble getting to class.
That's too bad. Thank you, George. Well, more seasonable weather returns to the area, and Graham's going to tell us about it.
Okay, let's go to the numbers right away. Sunrise, 7:31 a.m. Sunset will be at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And the records for this date, 63 in 1933 and a -20 back in 1904. As you can see, our normal high for this time of year, 30 degrees, and normal low about 15, and we're about there now. Snowfall today, 1/10 of an inch, bringing the month's total to 13.7 and the season to 91.2 inches. Currently, we've got a temperature of 27 degrees, so about normal, and the humidity 40%, but beautiful skies out there, as you can see in those photographs. The barometer at 30.43 and falling, and the winds out of the northwest at 9 miles per hour. Now let's check out the national map. Look at Ohio. There is a high pressure over Ohio, and that will drift east and build over our state this afternoon. And there is a low pressure developing over Texas, and it's expected to track northeastward, spreading moisture across our area tomorrow. Let's see how that translates into your backyard. Sun almost all over the place. Some of those clouds down south, and temperatures, as we said, about normal. 31 there in Casanova, 24 in Old Forge, 26 in Ithaca, and 27 in Norwich. Looking ahead to the 5cast. Today, we should expect a mix of sun and clouds, and there are flurries possible. A high 35, winds out of the west at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, we should see increasing cloudiness and a chance of snow, the low 25, and the winds are out of the south at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And looking ahead to the weekend tomorrow. Tomorrow, driving might get a little treacherous. There will be periods of snow, sleet, or freezing rain, and then changing to rain by the afternoon. The high 35, so if it cools off, it'll get kind of slushy. And as we look ahead to Sunday, 30 degrees, and the snow should be ending. Monday should be a nice day with some sun, and then we're going to warm up again and to about 40 degrees on Tuesday. So just be careful out there on the weekend.
Might be a bit messy tomorrow. Okay, thanks, Graham. Well, Mr. Food has been hard at work in the kitchen. He's here now with a recipe that will make you look like a whiz.
We always need an easy-to-make special treat. One that'll take care of the family, any guests for any party, or maybe just the gang coming over. I mean, Super Bowl and Valentine's Day are coming up, and this would fit both of them. Well, here's how easy. Don't need any special brands either. For the crust, we mix 2 cups of flour with a ½ cup of powdered sugar, and we cut in, well, that means work in well with a fork, a ½ pound of soft butter or margarine. Now that's patted into a 9 by 13 baking dish and baked at 350, 15, 20 minutes. While it's baking, we mix together 4 well-beaten eggs, 2 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of flour, a half teaspoon of baking powder, and 5 tablespoons of lemon juice. That's poured on the hot crust, and it's baked another 20 minutes. Remove it from the oven, sprinkle it with powdered sugar, done. But now the tricky part is that they have to be cut while they're warm. Not while they're hot, not while they're cool, just warm. Then put them in the fridge to firm up. You'll get the hang of it right away. And the taste is like a creamy, lemony pudding. Now, they're not finding this in a box in the market. And if you'd like the recipe, you just send a self-addressed stamped envelope marked lemon squares to me, Mr. Food, right here at the station, and we'll get them back to you for being the whiz that's always right, whenever or wherever you serve them. I mean, here, there, now, later, always. Ooh, it's so good.
Now, if you'd like a copy of the lemon squares recipe, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Mr. Food in care of WTVH TV, 980 James Street, Syracuse, New York, 13203.
And you can also obtain the recipe via CityLine. Have a pencil and paper ready when calling, and then dial 425 WTVH. That's 425 WTVH. When CityLine answers and asks for a category, touch 3663. That's 3663, and you'll hear Mr. Food's recipe. And what's in a name?
Well, perhaps a trip down under. We'll have details in just a few minutes.
Attention, this is a public notice for the next 3 days. We're opening our doors to the public with incredibly low prices. Brand new living room sets, sectional sofas, and pit groups from $188. Bedroom sets from $188. Brand new mattress sets, all sizes, from $33 each piece, sold in cents. Immediate delivery available or free layaway. Quantities limited, so hurry in for best selection. At Nationwide Warehouse, 6514 Basile Row, across from Amtrak Station. Phone 437-0600, 437-0600. Nationwide Warehouse.
Introducing whole bean coffee from Maxwell House. The freshness and flavor of the whole bean with the richness of Maxwell House, blended with Colombian beans. Maxwell House whole bean coffee. Fresh, rich, and of course, good to the last drop.
Keep an eye on the latest medical advances for your health on News Center 5 at 5:30.
Some people will go to any lengths to bring home the fresh taste of Chi-Chi salsa.
May I have some mild salsa, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Now they can just go to the store and buy it. Chi-Chi's Restaurante-style salsa. Hot and mild with real vegetable chunks.
Check, please.
Chi-Chi's Restaurante-style salsa. Now at your grocer's.
Introducing the convenient new Crisco baking block. It makes a light and flaky pie crust easier than ever. It's easy to use, no mess to measure. And like the famous blue can, always blends easily because it's not kept in the refrigerator. For a light and flaky pie crust, the new Crisco baking block is the recipe for success.
Our look at people in the news begins with actor Don Johnson. Johnson wants a judge to throw out a lawsuit filed against him by a supermarket tabloid. Star magazine claims Johnson encouraged an employee to fire birdshot at a Star helicopter as it flew over his ranch on the actor's wedding day. Johnson has countersued the tabloid, alleging the chopper pilot invaded his privacy and disregarded the safety of wedding guests. Actress Loretta Swit co-chaired a $150 a plate fundraising dinner in Washington State last night. The cause was a unique one. Swit was raising money to build a recreation area for 5 chimpanzees. Central Washington University researchers report the chimps are the first non-humans to learn sign language. The state is building the chimps a new home, but didn't include money for the recreation area. That's where Swit's fundraiser came in.
Okay, and speaking of animals, to the delight of animal lovers in Florida, the first koala born in the state made its first public appearance yesterday. The pocket-sized female koala spent most of her first day out in public hanging on to her mother. Both mother and daughter are doing just fine, but the 7-month-old has one problem: she doesn't yet have a name. So the Miami Zoo is having a Name the Koala contest. The person submitting the winning name will get an all-expense-paid trip to the koala's native land, Australia.
We're going to send our suggestions in right away.
Okay. Our suggestion is Qantas. How about Qantas? That does it for right now. We'll see you tonight at 5:30 and 6, and again Monday at noon, and we think that Liz will be back with us on Monday. We certainly hope so. For all of us at News Center 5, have a good day and a good weekend.
Have you heard about the peanut butter sandwich, y'all? Peter Pan peanut butter sandwich. It's a contest that'll make you feel 10 feet tall. Peter Pan peanut butter sandwich. With Peter Pan proof of purchase and entry form from the store, you can win big prizes, free t-shirts, and more. Show us your best slam dunk rendition in the Peter Pan peanut butter sandwich competition.
Hey kids, enter Saturday at Pencan Mall or Sunday at Fayetteville Mall. You must be 10 years old or younger to enter. Entry forms available at all Hometown Markets locations.
Attention, this is a public notice for the next 3 days. We're opening our doors to the public with incredibly low prices. Brand new living room sets, sectional sofas, and pit groups from $188. Bedroom sets from $188. Brand new mattress sets, all sizes, from $33 each piece, sold in sets. Immediate delivery available or free layaway. Quantities limited, so hurry in for best selection. At Nationwide Warehouse, 6514 Basile Row, across from Amtrak Station. Phone 437-0600, 437-0600. Nationwide Warehouse.
CityLine is your 24-hour information line, and it's easy to use. Just call 425-WTVH on your touch-tone phone. Then enter a 4-digit category number. Get up-to-the-minute headlines. Find out if you've got a lucky number. Check the latest numbers on Wall Street. CityLine even lets you play games. And with over 900 categories to choose from, there's something for everyone. All the information you want right from your phone. The WTVH CityLine.
OJ, Peters, Smith, Sweetheart, Snyder's, your hometown markets.
Shop this week and save on Folgers coffee, the 13-ounce break pack, just $1.99 with coupon. Take home Cottonelle bath tissue, the 12-roll pack, only $2.99 with coupon. Rinso powdered laundry detergent, the 38-ounce box, just 99 cents. And wake up to Post Raisin Bread, the 15-ounce box, only $1.99.
Co-op buying power, your hometown markets.
Two great names in carpets, Jerry's Carpet and DuPont Certified Stainmaster Carpet. On sale from $8.95 a square yard. Come on over to Jerry's Carpets and save.
Afternoons, there's something new before the news. It's Cheers, now at 5 p.m. here on WTVH 5.